2020 could be the darkest winter in modern history.
Coronavirus.
COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
The battlefield, many of its victims died alone, surrounded by plastic.
If we don't change things now, unfortunately, when my grandchild is the same age as me, it will be a life that I wouldn't want them to necessarily live through. My name's Connie. I am one of the committee members and founding members of the Package-Free Larder. We are a non-profit, zero-waste supermarket. Our main aim is to make plastic-free shopping accessible and affordable to everybody, whilst also building a sense of community, because we strongly believe that as much as you can make an impact with your individual choices, when we come together, that's when change actually happens. So it's really important to us that we make fixing the climate crisis and working together a community effort, because that's the only way that change will come. So coming out of lockdown and recovering from the pandemic, I think has had a really interesting effect when it comes to people cutting back on their waste, because especially at the beginning of the pandemic, when people were panic buying and the shelves in supermarkets were empty, people kind of had to be a bit more creative with how they would feed themselves, how they would get by and use up what they have. So I really hope that more people have got that mindset of, okay, it is actually saving me money to use what I have and to not buy unnecessary items and things like that. You don't need to go out and spend loads of money to be sustainable. Companies try to get you to believe that we can just buy our way out of the climate crisis, but unfortunately you just have to stop buying the things that you don't need. There's so many habits that you can instill in your life. Reducing plastic is one of them. Driving less, eating less meat is also a fantastic one, because everything that you ever use or eat or have in your life has a history of how it was produced. And in that production, CO2 was emitted, resources had to be sourced and made and then delivered to you. If you can reuse that until it's dead, essentially, if you can reuse it hundreds and hundreds of times, it's always going to be more sustainable and always going to be better for the planet to reuse something instead of continuing to buy into single-use products, for example, kitchen roll or baby wipes. They're a fantastic representation of, if you reduce waste and swap it for like a reusable cloth, for example, it's miles better for the planet. My first tip would be to reduce what you don't need and reuse what you have. My second tip would be to try and reduce food waste. Think of creative ways to use up the food that you have in your fridge and try not to waste as much food. You can save yourself so much money by making meals from things that you already have in your freezer. And my third tip would be to always question companies that are trying to sell you something that's green. Always second guess, look into their credentials. What are they actually doing with this product? Is it really sustainable? Do you really need the product? Can you swap the product for something that's reusable? We in the West, we'll probably won't experience the negative effects of climate change as much as people in countries that will be uninhabitable in 20 years, 30 years if global temperatures rise above 2 degrees Celsius. So where possible, try and buy things in bulk, in big packages. If you aren't able to visit one of these shops and to buy it package free, then try to buy it in 5 kilos or 10 kilos, because it will always be better to buy in bulk than it will be to buy 10 little packets of plastic, and then you're more likely to be able to reuse that packaging. If you buy in something big, you can use it as bin bags or anything like that. Try to buy fruit and veg plastic free if you can, so bring your own produce bags, and try to opt for the shops, if you have them, that sell things loose, and go for glass instead of plastic as much as you can. And try to support your local butchers, your local greengrocers, your local bakeries. You might live in a place that has these things, and not only will you be helping the planet, but you'll be supporting the local economy. So try to shop as local as you can at the places that already do things package free. We are just the Package-Free Larder. Please follow us, and we also have a discussion group for our sister organisation called Zero Waste Portsmouth, and it's people with similar mindsets on reducing waste, asking questions, answering questions, and it's a really lovely community to be part of as well.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Cool.